Well, we'll see if that's working. Hello, people. Hello. Is that all good? You can hear, you can see. Nice. Yeah, it's cold. It's like Auckland cold, which is not proper cold, but hey, I've got a jacket on. Islanders, yeah, man. So what's wrong with the Islanders? I like teams that used to be good and are now bad, like my Blues. I picked the Reds for this one. I think on our local tipping comp, but in Super Brew, I picked the Blues. So I've gone, I think, one each way. So, yeah. Not confident at all that the Blues are going to get this done. From memory, they tend to struggle in Queensland. Blues by 3. Could happen. Could happen, Jack. Yeah, I don't know how much commentary I'll do during the game itself. It may just be me staring blankly at the screen, cursing the Blues. We'll see. I assume a lot of you guys are actually watching the game, yeah? Another draw. Ugh. This year has had a lot of draws. I'll have to have a look at the stats to see what the history is like of how many draws there have been in one season, but this one must be up there. Okay, good. Most of you guys are watching. That's good. You want me to commentate? Oh, man. The Bulls drew and the Blues won. Oh, so does that mean the Reds technically done? Because I know they had like a very slim mathematical chance before this game started. The Bulls draw. To be fair. Watching from Thailand. Nice. Bet you it's warmer in Thailand than it is here right now. Although, like I said, this is Auckland cold, so not legit cold. I used to live where it snowed, and that's proper cold. But then again, houses in Auckland are not built for cold, so we're not that soft. Pretty soft. You might be able to watch through the reflection on my glasses. Haven't won in Brisbane since 2010, the commentator just said. Yeah. All right, here we go. That's not an impressive crowd, but I suppose that's to be expected. 13 degrees is freezing. Okay. The guys are feeling each other out, really. That's good. That's fine. I'll be interested to see how slippery it is in Queensland because it tends to get that way a bit. It gets a bit greasy, but that's a start. 13-degree weather is t-shirt weather. Yeah, it's not that cold. Yeah, the crowd being low on this one, I guess, is kind of to be expected because it's pretty much two teams who are dead in the water. So I was actually tempted to go to this one. I tried to talk my wife into having a quick trip to Queensland But yeah, she wasn't keen. Oh man, that first scrum is a bit ominous for the Blues. I still remember that draw they had a few years ago where they were just getting hammered in the scrum. So that has me. Yeah, we'll see. Early days. Still more scrums to come. Yeah, nobody's game to run it yet. Still no Sonny Bill as well. Come on, Blues. Finally get the ball in the Reds' half. What's the odds we're going to knock it on? I may sound pessimistic, but I've been a Blues fan for a few years now. Come on, man. No Rico tonight. I saw some of you guys mention that. They played him all throughout the season because they needed the wins, and now we're kind of paying for it, I guess. Also, we're going to have to see how Pulu goes at 9. That guy's passing. Good at running. Close. 1 meter out. How many phases before the Blues knock it on? Oh, did they? Oh my God! Did the Blues just score a try within the first 3 minutes? I do not believe it. I do not believe it. Sorry, I've been missing all the chats. Man. Man, I can't believe that. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. The Blues go 12 phases and they knock it on. That's what the Blues do. Oh, my Lord. Blues by 20 at least. Yeah, man, I'll take that. Man. Definitely take that. Yeah, I'm glad the referee had a good view of that. Good. Good start. Spoilers. Update the whiteboard, yes. Yes, I do need to update the whiteboard. I'll wait for the kick. Also, if it's in, I get let's see if I can get ESPN up on my phone because they do pretty good stats as well. 7-zip. Let's go Blues. Good start. How's the goal kicking tonight? Yeah, well, I mean, Otete Black has better numbers across the board than Plummer. Plummer is generally not the best, but yeah, he hasn't played. He hasn't started for weeks, so I guess we'll have to see how he goes around the park because Plummer has been the man for quite a while, although he's still, I guess at times, I mean, he's young. He looks a bit underdone at times. He looks pretty good at Mitre 10 level. Yeah, have to keep updated with the stats. Ooh. Knock on advantage. The Blues have got the ball in the Reds' half. What are they going to do? Kick it, and it's too big. All the way back for a scrum. Okay, we'll have to see how the Blues scrum goes with this. There's Plummer. Yeah, Black's starting this week. If the Blues have a good first half, then they will win. Reds are bad in the second half. Oh, well, okay. Kind of hope that's true. The Blues could absolutely use a win just to hang on for dear life, but it's still a very long shot. Cool flag wall. Believe it or not, I asked my mum to stitch those flags together. Yep. Gotta go. All right, man. See you, Skinny Brew. How can you be missing the Blues and Reds game, man? Priorities. Okay. That Blues scrum is holding fairly well. I'm optimistic. It's been one of the things with the Reds. If you can kind of hold them off at set piece, then you keep in with a chance. Also, Pickerel's the ref, and he tends to be pretty pedantic, so we could be in for a few penalties tonight. Yeah, I think also Nonu has had a pretty good kicking game this season, but that last one did leave a bit to be desired. Tune down celebration for my team's try. Yeah, I can't count those chickens. Plus, there might be some Reds fans watching. Got to keep it as neutral as I can. Oh God. Yeah, I remember looking at the Blues lineout stats, and they are also not that hot. So there's evidence of that in this game. Was that the first Blues lineout, and it's not gone according to plan. So, yeah. Air punches. If you've ever been in a crowd with New Zealand fans, compared to the rest of the world, we tend to do things pretty muted. No. The Reds, are they going to score here? Because the Blues are scrambling. I got advantage of slowing it down. Tupou, I think he's out. I don't think that's a try. A man that big cannot squeeze into the corner. Yeah, the Islanders, man. That's my NHL team. As I was saying before, like I have a thing for teams who used to be good and are now rubbish, kind of like the Blues. So I think the last time the Islanders won the Stanley Cup was like 1983. So the Blues last won the Super Rugby 2003. So yeah, it's kind of a thing. Props on the wing are always satisfying. Surely, no, he's out. He's out. No chance. You need to do that rugby league thing where you get your body more airborne, but that guy is not physically able of getting airborne. Although he, as far as props go, Tupou is pretty athletic. But yeah, no, he's too big. Too big. Bulls Highlanders. Yeah, I watched it. The first half was cracking, and I was like, this Blues Reds game is not going to live up to that Highlanders Bulls game. And then the second half was that like 25 minutes of scrum resets. So yeah, it kind of slowed down a bit in the second half. That kind of end-to-end stuff after the 80 was pretty entertaining, but it ended up nobody won it. So yeah, that's the Highlanders are in a pretty bad position now. Oh, the Blues might have held them up. No, it's gone to ground. Oh, turned it over. It was held up. Oh, they knocked it on. Well, still in a spot of bother because they are right down on their own try line, but we didn't concede points yet, so I'll take that. Sonny Bill's chances for the ABs, yeah, I reckon he still makes it. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time they've picked him not on form, but just on kind of reputation. He's just one of those guys. So I think he'll make it rightly or wrongly. Is that a cup of tea? It's a cup of coffee because I figure I will need the energy. I have a beer next to me as well in case the Blues start losing. Although it's an Australian beer. Yes, beer. Resetting scrums. VB, nah, it's Cooper's Brewery Original Pale Ale, Australian made. So, yeah, it's like 750 mils. So, if the Blues end up getting done, it should at least ease the pain a wee bit. Fancy fella. Okay. Is that fancy? Nasty. Okay. I haven't tried it. I try to try new beers from time to time. I was going to get 4X because it's a Queensland game, but they didn't sell it at the place I went to. I was absolutely disappointed. I don't even know if I've ever had 4X. Bad beer. Okay. I'll try it and tell you if I think it's bad. I'm not much of a beer connoisseur, to be fair. Okay. Decent exit from the Blues. We are at least out of our own 22. Your viewership wants you to punish that beer. I think that's you, Sumo, that wants me to punish that beer. Not straight. Neither side can throw a line out. And if you're lip reading, Murphy is not a happy chappy. Jaguares or Sharks? I think I picked the Jaguares for that one. Yeah, that lineup there was awful. It is pretty much 10 p.m. here in New Zealand. So the kids are in bed. Fingers crossed they sleep throughout this game. If you see me run, it's probably because 2 children have woken up. My wife should be able to handle one. But if the other one wakes up, I will be sprinting. Hey, Driver Moore, Paul. Who do I think will win the Super title this year? I mean, it's hard to go past the Crusaders. Can anyone beat them in Christchurch? Probably not. Yeah, man, more scrum resets. Children bad like beer. Yeah. Crying children in the middle of the night are very bad. I can confirm. Crusaders or Jaguares? Man, wouldn't it be awesome if the Jaguares won it? That would be pretty cool. I mean, I tend to support teams that haven't won something before over teams that have won it before, and the Crusaders have won it enough. So for the Jaguares to get their first title, that would be pretty cool. Oh my, did the Blues pack just punish the Reds at scrum time and win a penalty? Wow, maybe I do need to have some beer. Say it's got to make it 10 titles. Yeah, could well be. Scrum replay of that Blues pack. Man. Take that. Definitely take that. Can we get the line out right? That's another question. 2 set pieces in a row for the Blues. Do not put the mortgage on it. Come on, James. Just throw it straight. Come on. And we did it. I do not believe it. Maybe things are looking up for the Blues. I'm going to put a little bit of optimism on. Usually fatal for a Blues fan. But I'm going to go with it. Yeah, I am a bit croaky, Paul. I'm at the tail end of a cold. And I do have a beer next to me if I need to wet my whistle. Cross kick. What's going to happen? Nada. James Parsons for the ABs. Nonu in the ABs. I would say Nonu has a better chance than James somehow. Have I paid for Spark Sport? Yes. I got in last month when it was at its cheapest. So how much am I predicting the Blues to win by? That's a dangerous question. I don't want to jinx the Blues. As soon as you start getting optimistic about the Blues, that's when they go to crap. When they're at like 20 phases and you think just one more, they're going to get over the line, that's when they knock it on. So you shouldn't get too optimistic with the Blues. Crusaders fan rooting for the Blues. Good man. Good man. New Zealand brotherly loyalty, I guess. Oh, man. I was too busy looking at comments. Did he seriously just kick that dead? Did he seriously just kick that dead? Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. Oh, man. This is what I'm talking about, man. You cannot get optimistic about the Blues because they will just do stupid. Next AB's coach. I'd like to see Scott Robertson get it. He's a bit of a character, but I don't think it'll be him. It'll be Foster. They've got that kind of succession plan thing going on at the ABs, and it's worked from Hansen to from Henry to Hansen. So he seems to have to do your kind of understudy thing. If Robertson could be Foster's assistant, that'd be cool. But I think Robertson's with the Crusaders for like another 2 years. So unless Robertson can do 2 years before the next World Cup, maybe, I don't know. Blues kickers are subpar at best. Truer words have never been spoken. We do not have a world-class number 10. We don't even really have like a kind of top-level Super Rugby 10. But Talia has just gone in for a try. So here I am whining, and the Blues are getting it done. So can't complain about that. Want to see the Blues make the playoffs. Good. Yeah, man. Akira Ioane is... I remember I did the stats on the Blues guys last year, and virtually like a third or almost half of like the key numbers came from the two Ioane brothers. So without those guys, we would be in pretty serious trouble. Hayden Parker, man, yeah. I think I can't remember, but I'm sure he's under contract with a Japanese club, but I'm not sure for how long. So if the Blues could get him, why not? That was an ugly kick, but it did the job. I'll take that. Update the whiteboard. One more for the bonus point lead. Come on, Blues. We need all the points we can get. Yeah, Plummer's still young for sure. He definitely needs more time. So he's got potential. He needs a good goal kicking coach. Like, you remember when Mertens went to the Waratahs and seemed to work on Foley's goal kicking that year they won it? Like, he needs a mentor like that just to work on his kicking, because it's either that or they get another player who can kick, like a 12 or a 9 who can kick. But it's pretty hard to come by in New Zealand. Maybe we need to import like a French 9. Yeah, I thought so, Paul. I'm not sure how long his top league contract is for, but I feel like it's for long enough. Oh, come on. Oh, that didn't last long. Just as I was reading a comment and thinking in my head, maybe bonus point win. Yeah, nah. Not yet. He's got some gas for a big guy. He still has. No wonder he scored so many tries. He's clean shaven this week as well. 40 tries. That's for Scott Higginbotham. That's crazy. That is crazy. Karevi. Yeah. Jock Campbell is a pretty good looking young prospect as well, but that was Karevi. Man. Can't give those guys that kind of space. They just make you look silly. Can you turn the camera to the TV for just a few seconds? Try to look at the reflection off my glasses. I'll see if I can angle that for you. Hairdos and facial hair, the important rugby topics. Absolutely, man. The haircuts some of those number 9s get are awful. Speaking of awful, Haggerty's kick did not get the job done. Oh, well, we've already had 3 tries in like 20 minutes, so it's not too bad. Are we going to hear you curse? I do try to keep it G or PG rated. I do curse with relative frequency. Try not to curse in front of the children. Try not to curse on YouTube, but I am fond of a good curse. As a Blues fan, you kind of need to be able to curse because otherwise life would be hard. Oh, the Blues are actually going to run it from their own half. Oh, and Nonu is busting up into the Reds' half. Oh, is this another try? Oh, my Lord. This game is just end to end. Pulu may not be the best passer, but the guy can run with the ball. He can definitely run with the ball. Optional defense. Yeah, that's one way of putting it. Yeah. He's got a lot more gas than that Reds number 9. Forget his name. It's his debut, I think. Yeah, I can curse in a couple of languages, but yeah, cursing for me is most satisfying in English. I guess it's because I understand it more properly. I can really feel the words that you're speaking. 21-5. Come on, Blues. How do you curse in Chinese? Yeah, I can curse in Chinese. I guess there's certain themes in cursing. A lot of stuff is like about your mother. So, not your mother, but just mothers in general. That's true in Chinese as well. I am an Islanders fan. Raptors or Warriors? I've never really gotten that much into the NBA. But based on my logic of I like to see teams that haven't win it before, I guess Raptors, because the Warriors have won it like, what, 3 out of 4 years or something? So, yeah. When I watch basketball, it's a lot of squeaky shoot, I find. Just a personal thing. And basketball, you can have like one guy who's really good, and it makes all the difference. Whereas rugby, you could have Dan Carter playing for any team, and he's still not going to be able to lift that team beyond kind of the sum of its parts. Well, that being said, I don't think the Lakers made the playoffs this year, and LeBron went there, right? Why is this conversation during a rugby match about curse words in different languages? Come on, Blues, tackle. God's sake. Did the Reds halfback seriously just palm off one of, was that Hodgman? The momentum swings in this game are pretty fierce. Four Irish provinces. Which one's my favorite? Man, that's I mean, I admit I've probably seen the most Leinster, just based on games watched. Then it'd be Munster, and then I've seen probably third would be Ulster and fourth would be Connacht, just in terms of games watched. And I've been sent a ton of Leinster gear, so it's hard to argue with that. But yeah, I probably have to really sit down and watch the Pro 14 one time, like week in, week out, which is a huge competition. But yeah, Munster fans travel really well, which is amazing to see as well. In schoolboy rugby, you only need one good player. That's true. That's true. Generally, that kid who's like 10 or 20 kilos bigger than everybody else, just give it to that kid. If you've seen Taniela Tupou from his schoolboy days, you will see that he was kind of a one-man wrecking ball. That's kind of what put him on the radar anyway, was those YouTube clips. What car do I drive? I mostly take the bus, man. I mostly take the bus. That's why I was home late tonight, because I think the bus driver who came to my stop must have been running late, because he switched his sign from like the number to special, and he just drove straight on by my stop. Can the Blues hold the Reds up from 6 meters? Well, they've stopped Karevi. It's a good start. And Rodder. So I think that's 2 phases. So far, so good. And Tupou. Okay, he got over the advantage line. 3 phases. Oh, that's 4. Five phases. This is getting painful to watch. Oh, he's short. The halfback went for the corner, but he's short. He's got more of a chance of getting in that corner than Tupou, though. Tupou was right there. Yeah, I heard Munster hired Roundtree, and I heard that they're looking at Larkham as well. I can't believe they're looking at Larkham. I mean, great player, but I don't rate him as an attack coach. And that's kind of where Munster's. Penalty conceded. The Blues need to keep defending. Who has the best satellite dish ears? Graham Roundtree or Buck Shelford? It's definitely Graham Roundtree. Nobody competes with those ears. I think in terms of the coverage that Sky has for rugby, they play all the games on Sky Sport. On the rugby channel, they play the Pro 14 games and the Premiership games, and I think some of the top 14 highlights, but they don't have the rights to the Champions Cup. That was on TVNZ this year, and I think it's going to Spark because they had the final. So Spark Sports really trying to become a thing. They got the World Cup, Champions Cup, Formula One, all that kind of stuff. Next one is in the bin for the Blues. This is one of those ones where maybe you just hope that the opposition just scores in the corner and only gets 5 points. Because if you give away a penalty try and a yellow card, yeah, maybe more costly. Laumapi for the ABs? Yeah, I think probably. But then again, that midfield question is still one that needs to be answered. The Blues have been camped in their own 10 meters for the last 5 minutes. Either the Reds score here or it's a yellow card, surely. Oh, come on, Parsons, you twit. Honest to God, the ref literally just said leave it. I'm assuming it was Parsons. Tired, yeah, we bit. I think it's probably good that the Reds scored there because otherwise that may have been yellow card time. So, yeah, take that. That's fine. That's fine. Will Israel Folau prevail in his court case? I don't know much about the legal stuff, but from what I've heard very briefly, it seems like legally he's in a pretty strong position. That's why he didn't appeal via Rugby Australia's hearing. He went for a proper legal hearing. So yeah, they could be in deep trouble. Yeah, man. Lots of tries in this game. I wish more of them were for the Blues, but again, that try, given that the Blues were under a yellow card warning, and he's kicked it. I was going to say, and they managed to make him score not under the sticks. At least there was a chance that the Reds might not kick the conversion, but he still kicked the conversion. Hegarty's actually a better kicker than I thought he was before the season started. Yeah, man. Sky has been losing the rights to a fair bit of stuff over the years. Their model sucks. They're still on the whole, you need to buy the starter package, which has got not movies, but a bunch of their channels. Then you need to add Sky Sport on top of that. So it's just really costly. Whereas everyone else is just view on demand. So I don't know why. I mean, Sky does have some options like that, but I don't know. They all seem kind of ordinary. If you've ever been in Asia where Rugby Pass is a thing, or if you're in New Zealand using a VPN, their service is great. You just buy a subscription and watch whatever games what you want to watch. I wish Sky would offer something like that, but they don't. I think even if Folau signed for the Southland Stags, they still may not win a game in the Mitre 10 Cup. From Georgia. Man, I actually just bought a Georgia jersey. I haven't opened it. That's a spoiler for you guys who are in the stream. Bought myself a Georgia jersey. Fan pass sucks. Yeah, the Blues line-out woes continue. I have to have a look. I forgot to look up the stats. What the Blues line-out stats are like tonight. Georgia the country? No, Georgia the country. I bought a Georgia rugby jersey. It was on special, and I justified it by saying that their world ranking is high, relatively high. So, in prep for the World Cup, got myself a Georgia jersey. Yeah, I've seen some of the Pro 14 highlights of the Irish teams, and they are in Irish, and I also do not understand. I guess free-to-air is a good thing. That's one thing Aussie rugby could really use with is a bit of free-to-air rugby, right? Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of the league and does the AFL go free-to-air? I'm not sure. Maybe the AFL doesn't need to be free-to-air because it's popular enough that people will pay for it. Yes, Justin Marshall and Grant Nisbet will not be commentating the Rugby World Cup because they work for Sky. I actually don't dislike Justin Marshall as much as most people do. I know most Kiwis cannot stand Justin Marshall's commentary. I'm not sure what like the non-New Zealanders are like with Justin Marshall's commentary, but Kiwis pretty much universally cannot stand him. And the Reds win a scrum penalty against the Blues. Now that's more what I was expecting going into this game. But it's 37 minutes. Maybe the Blues guys are getting a bit tired. Buy a Namibia jersey. I was looking for Namibia jerseys. I cannot find any at the moment. I found one store that has 2017 Namibia jerseys, and they are only available in 3XL, which is just too big. True. The Aussie game times do tend to rotate around a wee bit. Although I don't mind the fact that they do a Sunday game from time to time and afternoon games, like Sunday afternoon. Like the games are never on here in the afternoon. Well, very rarely. At least not Blues games. Oh man, Karibi just gets through too often. Okay. That turnover from Papali'i was one of those ones where everyone's looking to see if he's been caught with his hands in the cookie jar, but he got away with it, and then the Blues immediately get penalised. Favorite international commentator? Ooh. I did listen to, man, was it the Champions Cup final? Where they had like these guys from Irish radio on like Rugby Pass or something. And they were just blatantly, I don't remember their names, but they were just blatantly on Leinster's side against. It was like a little bit annoying, but more entertaining and kind of hilarious because they were just like so one-eyed. It's like watching the Blues games with my dad, where he's just like bull crap, as a penalty or offside. Like my dad just does that the whole game. Like he's about as one-eyed as it gets. So it was kind of like watching a game with your dad, except your dad's an Irish Leinster fan. AFL is free to air. Okay, that's good to know. I mean, that makes sense because it's really popular, and free to air means more people have access to it. Although that being said, I don't think that many of the sports are free to air here. Half time. I need to update the whiteboard. 15:21. 15:21. What are the stats like? Reds possession 60%, territory 66. This is according to ESPN. Blues edge the run meters. Blues lineouts 1 from 3. Great. Neither side is tackling at 80%. They're both in the 70s. So, yeah, I don't think either coach is going to be all that happy with their team. Joel Stransky, yeah, he's actually not too bad. Joel Stransky's okay. I'm trying to think who are the other South African guys. There's that one, oh man, I forget his name. He's pretty old. I think he's like a former Springbok, or at least he's a former rugby player. A lot of people don't like him because he speaks ridiculously slowly. What's the big rugby game? Our Super Bowl is just the World Cup final. But it's only once every 4 years. I guess rugby is a bit different. Like from a lot of the American sports, it seems like the NFL, the NBA, like that's kind of the pinnacle. Probably even more so than the Olympics, right? Because like the best teams all play in the NBA, whereas rugby, none of the club competitions are at that elite level like the World Cup. Whereas like the basketball World Cup's pretty one-sided because America's just too good. Matt Pearce, man, that guy's pronunciation is spot on. I think that guy does a lot of research. Like when the Springboks were playing France, like yeah, his pronunciation was absolutely immaculate. So many of the commentators don't do any work on how to pronounce the names. It's pretty embarrassing. But no, Matt Pearce really does his homework. Penalties 3-7. Yeah, that is bad for the Blues. Hugh Bladden. Yes, that's the guy. He's that old chap. I don't mind him because I find his voice quite soothing. But if you want a guy who's going to really like invigorate your viewing, he's not your guy. North Korean commentators. Yes, they are the best. Don't argue. Bill McLaren. That rings a bell. Bladden needs to retire. He's drunk most of the time. Okay. I can kind of feel him with that. Bill McLaren. Commentary. Yeah, I know the guy. Is he the guy who did Jonah Lomu's commentary? Like the rugby game? Like digs like a demented mole? The commentators. Cricket commentators have a lot of dead air to fill, so they have to kind of talk bollocks a lot because there's a lot of time between every ball, especially if a fast bowler has got a very long run up. Yeah, I totally agree, Sumo, on the commentators not getting the names right. Like, if I see a name that I don't know, even though I'm just some schmuck who does YouTube videos, I will at least try to find like a highlights clip of that guy on YouTube, and I can hear somebody else saying his name to give me a better idea. Like, at least a very basic, or I'll try Google Translate's pronounce option to give me a clue. But like some of the New Zealand commentators with the South African names are abysmal. And to be fair, some of the South African commentators with the Pacific Island names, pretty bad. The Aussie commentators, yeah, likewise. Like Māori names, they cannot say at all. I mean, obviously it's a generalization. Some do better than others, but yeah, I feel like if you're getting paid to commentate a game, just do a bit of research, man. Okay. The Gaelic football commentators are pretty mad. Yeah. Sometimes if you ever listen to Radio Sport here in New Zealand, they go pretty mad. Probably not that Gaelic football mad, but like they have to kind of like sell the game when they're like commentating it, because you can't see what they're talking about. So sometimes they try to really go overboard, but yeah. Hope this game isn't going to be a draw. Yeah. Nigel Yolden, yes, he does get excited. He's one of the guys I'm talking about. But I mean, I guess it's kind of their job because they want to keep you listening to the game, so listen to all the ads. So Grant Nisbet called the Samoa South Africa pool game in 1995. Did he? He pulled it off. It's impressive for 1995. People didn't care about that stuff as much in 1995 as they do now, I feel. Like there's a lot more encouragement here to get pronunciation correct. Wow. I'm not even going to attempt to read what you're writing there, Dave. That's tricky. Can the Blues still make the playoffs? What has that Highlanders Bulls game done to the table? I have to have a check. It's interesting with the Super Rugby tables. Like a lot of the websites' table is pretty garbage. Like the official New Zealand one, I don't think even lists the number next to their ranking. But the Super Sport one from South Africa does a really good job of showing the overall log plus the conferences. So this is pretty good. Bulls are on 36. Sharks are still 33. Obviously haven't played. Yeah, I mean, I think the Blues just need to win 2 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That'll make them 36, but bonus points would be 38. So, yeah, wins, preferably bonus points, and hope other results go their way. One more round of the regular season, and then that is it. That is it. The Jaguares. They've been good, man. I didn't know about their being able to get things settled so quickly, and he's used a heap of rotation. And rotation is not an easy thing to get right because often you feel like you lose that chemistry between the players, but he seems to be getting it pretty well balanced. Tribe app. What is the Tribe app? I have not heard of the Tribe app. Should I have heard of the Tribe app? Yeah, the Blues do have the Hurricanes coming up, don't they? Yeah, you can't see them winning that. The Blues is always going to be a long shot, but if they can get a win, they could at least stay alive. So that'd be good. It's a sports app. Download the Tribe app. It's free. Okay. Is it sports generally or is it just rugby? Oh, and I have a text message. Okay. From my old boss. Tribeb is really reliable. You can find your favorite sports. Okay. All sports. Cool. Mark, you've written some language I can't read. But welcome. Good to see you here. I can hear a baby crying. I'm going to work on the assumption that my wife has got that. It's only one child. Although that child has gone for gold. It's the younger child. My wife's got it, surely. Will I do more live streams? I like to think so. Yeah, it's just a matter of being able to get the kids to bed and get a bit of space to myself. Yeah, provided I can do that, I think I'll do some more. It's been pretty fun so far. Although I did deliberately started with kind of a game that's a bit nothing, like Blues, Reds, Blues trying to keep alive, Reds pretty much dead and buried. So because I'm not sure how much focus I can put on watching the game and reading the comments, but so far so good. Concentrate, yes. It's Irish for how are you? Watching rugby and cricket, man. I'm watching rugby and reading comments, so cool. Hope you're feeling better, bro. In the man cave. Yeah, or the kitchen. Either way. I cleaned up the bench a little bit before I started the stream because it was horrendous. Horrendous. Do I follow other sports? Well, I guess with a rugby YouTube channel, I spend most of my time with the rugby. I definitely follow the other competitions around the world more than I did when I wasn't doing a YouTube channel. Like, you'd kind of always keep an eye on the Premiership and the Pro 14 and stuff, Champions Cup, but never really sat down and watched so many games. So that's taken a bit more time, which probably has taken a bit of time away from some other sports. Like I used to watch more ice hockey than I do now. But they play so many games every ice hockey season. It's like you can miss a few and it doesn't matter because they can literally play 2 games in 2 days. So, cricket I used to follow more than I do now, but again, not so much. I haven't seen any of the World Cup so far, but again, the time difference doesn't work that well for us here. The kitchen is the 21st century man cave. Yeah, I suppose guys are expected to spend more time in the kitchen nowadays, aren't they? Underway in the second half. Are the Blues going to hold on to this lead? Or is that Reds pressure of possession, territory, penalties, is that going to be too much for the Blues? Either way, you can't really see a team getting a bonus point win at this point. Hey. Yeah, 82 matches in the NHL season, man. It is crazy. And there's an amazing amount of parity. Like the top teams don't win that many games compared to how many games they lose. Like more like 60-40 instead of like the Crusaders who are like 80 or 90. No, I haven't watched any of the school games that Super Sport have been putting up. They do put some of the schoolboy games here on Sky Sport in New Zealand. They call it like First 15 Rugby, and it's pretty good. You see some pretty talented youngsters. Yeah, the Blues are throwing dummies and nobody's buying. I can feel the Blues just slowly getting squeezed, and it's an uncomfortable squeeze. Here go the Reds again. He's got men both sides. He goes for the man down the sideline, and he's got way too much space. 2 minutes. Who am I supporting in the Stanley Cup? Well, the Blues, of course, St. Louis Blues. But they've never won it before, so that's also part of the reason for that. The Bruins have won it before. Dude, really? The Blues? Yeah, I can't support the Bruins, man. Anything wrong with it? It's Blues. Like, I'm a Blues rugby fan. I have to support the Blues right now. If the Islanders were there, I'd be supporting the Islanders. I have watched a little bit of Curry Cup, but they hide it away on the Rugby Channel here in New Zealand and usually put it on in a pretty ungodly hour. So you kind of have to go out of your way to watch it. They don't really replay it. They seem to use it kind of as filler. I guess they get it as part of some package deal. But they don't really do a lot with it. And he's kicked it. And the Blues are behind. Yes, Mr. Commentator Man, that will please Brad Thorne. Thanks. Cool. Yeah, it does suck being a Blues supporter, and I'm feeling that right about now. Do you remember back at the start of the stream when I was optimistic and the Blues were scoring tries? Yeah. That's why I was still kind of being cynical at the time, because the Blues just aren't that good. I do remember the Lions 5 years ago, and they were not very good. So I suppose anything could happen, but I can't see it happening. The Blues actually won a penalty. Hats off to staying true to your team. Yeah, man. I like to think that I'm not like a fair weather fan. Like, I'm still critical of the Blues, like, as I rightly should be, because at times they are garbage. But that's still my team. I don't just like switch teams. Auckland does get a fair few fair weather fans. Like, the main two franchises here, at least in men's sports, are the Warriors, who are the league team, and the Blues, the rugby team. Like last year when I was going to Blues games, did I only go to one? Because I was in China for most of last year's season. But yeah, I remember the Warriors, the league team, who are equally as inconsistent and poor as the Blues, were on a winning streak. And yeah, they were getting good crowds, whereas they're usually poor, and the Blues crowd started to suffer. So yeah, we do get a fair few fair weather fans. But again, that's not unique to Auckland. That's a lot of places. Auckland Blues win this game, and the St. Louis Blues lose the Stanley Cup Finals when I make that deal. Yes, of course. I'm pretty much a neutral in the Stanley Cup Finals right now. The only reason I want the Blues to win is because they haven't won it before. And I don't like Brad Marchand. He's a douche for the Bruins. Now, we're in that situation again where the Blues are more than 5 phases, about 1 meter out. Do they score or do they knock it on? And they score. Okay, another lead change. And Pulu with a second. Okay. Take that. Try indeed, but they usually drop the ball, but this is the one time they didn't. Do I rate Pulu? Not really, because his passing game is pretty ordinary. And I figure if you're going to make the team as a number 9, that's probably the main thing you need to get right. And yeah, it's not his best attribute. Why don't I sit on a more comfortable chair? Am I squirming around? Yeah, I'm in the kitchen, so I'm on a kitchen chair. And the computer is on a stool, and so is the whiteboard. At least I'm not sitting on a stool, I guess. Easy conversion. Blues are in the lead. Marchand is a douche. Thank you. Yes. Okay. That's fair enough. You got to go with the guys who represent your country. There are no New Zealanders playing in the NHL. I think Australia had their first guy last year playing in the NHL. It's pretty rare. We don't have many ice hockey rinks here. Reds are back in the Blues half. Do the Blues concede straight away, or can we defend? I'm going to take a punt and say we managed to turn the ball over at some point. Cheetahs won the Curry Cup. Cheetahs fans, Sharks won the Curry Sharks fan. Yeah. Fair weather fans, man. Once your team is your team, that's your team. Although some people do kind of tend to follow players rather than teams. So I kind of get that as well. Like if you've got a favorite player and you don't really care what team they play for, I do get that to a degree as well. But surely your team should be your primary focus. Like, yeah. Anyway. 12 phases. And the Blues clean it up. Can we exit? Or do we just give the ball straight back to the Reds? Ball straight back to the Reds. If you came to Australia to watch a game, which team would you like to see play? Well, I've seen the Waratahs play in Sydney a couple of years ago now. So it would probably have to be one of the other three. I heard Canberra's pretty cold, so that's not that appealing. Kiwis do tend to like Queensland because it's a bit warmer. And, you know, you could always go to a Reds game and then a quick trip to the Gold Coast. But then again, I do have family in Queensland. So I may have to see my family as well. I don't know if I got time for that. Maybe the Rebels, because I've also got family in Melbourne who I could probably stay with and get some free accommodation. So, yeah, probably a Rebels game or a Reds game. Although I don't know if Canberra is as bad as people make it out, but they do tend to make it out to be pretty bad. Come to Argentina for a Jaguars match. Yeah, bro, I would love to. I'm sure the food is amazing. Not that I would go to a country just for the food. Okay, Blues are actually going to exit their half here. We haven't conceded any points. Still in the lead. Season's still alive. Success. Yeah, man. It's a shame Loftus doesn't get packed out for Super Rugby games anymore. But then again, none of the New Zealand stadiums do either. So, but yeah, South Africa does have some big grounds. It'd be great to see like an All Blacks Springboks game at some of those stadiums when it's just full to the rafters. Out on the full, Reds. See if the Blues can get their lineup going. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Sunwolves games get good crowds as well. I don't know if it's because it's fresh or what, but yeah. Last few Brumbies games have been below 0. So those are the proper fans who get out there for those games in that kind of weather. Since I lived in China, is snooker popular? There's a lot of pool halls, but it tends to be filled with dudes who are kind of high school dropouts, smoking cigarettes and drinking beers. Nothing that's wrong with not that there's anything wrong with that, but yeah, totally casual. I haven't seen much of the professional stuff. China tends to be a thing where, like, people don't play sports so much for fun, except basketball. Boys play basketball, but everything else is just kind of like, if you want to play tennis, you want to play it properly. You probably get a coach and everything. So yeah, haven't seen that much serious snooker. Only just casually people playing pool. Plummer is on for the Blues. God forbid he has to kick a penalty to win us this game. Your stream is way behind mine. I'm at 52 minutes. And the Reds just got another penalty. You watched the Box, Wales, and Cardiff. I bet that the atmosphere at the Millennium Stadium, possibly the best. I don't know. But like the crowd, it just seems like everyone seems to be able to sing. So they seem to be fully into it. I was going to mention earlier about New Zealand fans and other fans, like New Zealand fans being a bit more low-key. Like when I was at the World Cup in 2011 for the pool game against France, like I was surrounded by Kiwis and we were just kind of, like clapping and saying black, 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 like we do. And there was like one section opposite me in the other end of the stadium that was like literally bouncing up and down because it was just French fans going berserk. And I was like, man, those guys know how to support a team. Like they were the minority, but you could certainly hear them. South Africans are definitely not low key. Yeah, that's probably true. I don't know, like my dad is pretty loud when he goes to rugby games. Like if he goes to a club rugby game, occasionally he will get told off. Like the ref will stop the game, come over and tell him to be quiet because he's pretty loud. So I had that when I was growing up, my childhood. So that possibly also makes me a bit more quiet when I'm watching games because I've seen my dad get told off that many times. I was kind of like, oh, geez, I don't know that guy. Yeah, there's like 25 minutes left. I think I need another drink. My coffee's all done. I've got Pepsi and beer. It's like almost 11 o'clock. Smart line out move. Do I drink Pepsi or beer at 11 p.m.? Time for my beer. Okay. The lineouts are messy. That's why the Blues went with that quick one because they don't want to risk it. Beer o'clock. All right. Beer. All right, open the beer. Still cold as well. Straight liquor. Who do I think is going to win? Is Pulu going to get a hat trick? He just got smashed going for his hat trick. And he got it down, did he? Oh, my Lord. He's going to check it. He looks smashed. Just drink, man. Never mind the game. Yeah, this game may make me drink, to be fair. I'm just watching this replay to see the on-field decision is a try. Is that a knock-on in the lead-up? Yeah, that is Cooper's. I've been told it's bad, but I haven't tried it yet. They are reviewing this from every possible angle, taking it pretty far back. Ball pops out. Ooh, it looks okay from that angle, but I'm a Blues fan, so what am I going to say? But when they slowed it right down, it looked like he knocked it on. I don't know. Looks good? Okay, we'll say it looks good. Yeah. Cheers, guys. Okay. That's all right. Oh, they're looking at the actual grounding now, so I guess they're happy with the other bit. The Australian commentators do not want this to be a try. Fair enough. I'm a Blues fan. I do want this to be a try. Slowing it right down. It's grounded. What do you guys reckon? Is this a try or no? They are looking at it again and again and again. Did he release? As a Blues fan, yes, he released it. Definitely a try. Okay. More beer. It's got to be a try. Come on, get on with it. I think I can hear the ref saying there is a clear release. Uh-oh, no try. Penalty for not releasing. No hat trick for Pulu. Yeah, make a decision was what I was thinking as well. Well, you can kind of see why some sports limit the video ref stuff, because when it gets like that, it does get really trying. And it also takes out of the game like the tiredness factor for something like that's a 5-minute rest those guys have just had. So the idea of a substitute coming on and being able to find that extra bit of space is lessened by the fact that these guys have had 5 minutes rest. Start chugging. If that was a try, I would have chugged it. Anyway. Surely that's not straight ref. Anyway. Yeah, it probably wasn't a clear release, but hey. I remember when the Sunwolves were doing that at the start of the season, they were doing it in virtually every game. A lot of those weren't clear releases either, but I guess because it wasn't a defining moment, nobody really. Karevi is just causing carnage. Always manages to seem to get the ball away. It's like you know what he's going to do, but they just can't stop him from doing it. Ooh, that's gassy. I will try not to belch, a loud belch on the air. Although I must say that's probably the moment that I knew I was going to marry my wife, when she was my girlfriend. One day I was drinking a beer and I just belched, the loudest one you can imagine, without thinking like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that in front of my girlfriend. And she didn't look at me funny. She was just like, oh, that was pretty impressive. That's how you know you got the girl for you. Beer. Yes, beer. Jesus Christ. It's like you guys are trying to get me drunk, man. Nonu versus Karevi. Nonu's had a pretty good break, but I think overall I'm going to give it to Karevi thus far, although I'd like to see the numbers. I always feel better when I see the numbers. She heard wedding belches. Yeah, basically. That's it. Well, the try scoring has certainly slowed down in this game. It was kind of a hiss and a roar in the first half, and it's slowed down a bit. So not quite to that Highlanders Bulls match level, but yeah, it's there or thereabouts. 11 p.m. in New Zealand, 1 o'clock in South Africa. Hegarty. When the Reds signed Hegarty from the Tars, I wasn't particularly thrilled because, they'd put him at fullback a bit when they were putting Flower on the wing. I didn't see the value in it, but he's actually done pretty well. Better than I thought. I don't know if he's in that Wallabies conversation, but I think he's been pretty solid, man. You've got a way to go with that beer. Come on, man. Jeez, you guys are insatiable. I'm doing all right with that beer. 1 p.m. I guess CET is Central Europe time. Question is, are the Blues going to substitute their props this week, or are they going to get them to play the 80 again? Yeah, the Crusaders have had a few draws this year. Although one of them was that cancelled game, which they're not. That's not their fault. We held it. Nanai has been good this year. He set that play up. And Talia had a pretty good run. The Blues are on attack, and oh god. Yep. They stuffed it up. Karevi, 4 tackles, 1 missed tackle. No, 6 tackles, 2 missed tackles. Okay. Did you put the 15 carries, 29 meters, 5 carries? Oh, okay. The numbers are much of a muchness. Every time the ball is dropped, I have to drink that beer. I think I'll be finishing that beer pretty darn quickly. To be fair, that pass was kind of down by his knees, but and when you're 37, that's that. I think I would have needed to buy more than 1 bottle of beer. I'm sure there's other beer lying around, but yeah. If I drink that much beer at 11 o'clock before I go to bed, I'm going to be getting up a lot during the night, man. I'm not a young man anymore. Chiefs making the playoffs. They've only got 1 more game, so their fate is also not in their hands. All they can do is go and get a bonus point win next week over I think they got the Rebels. After the beer, you move to the harder stuff like Pepsi. Oh, okay. There's a delay between. Oh, Karevi 7 defenders beaten, Nonu's 3. Okay. That's why I feel like Karevi's having the better game. That's the obvious stuff. He's beaten twice as many people. Ooh, and that scrum is just getting monstered. That's what I was worried about going into this game because too many times have I seen the Blues pack get monstered by them Reds. Pro 14. From what I've seen about the Pro 14, you guys, I haven't seen anywhere near as many games as I should have, but it seems like a lot of the away teams tend to send their B teams away. But I guess the derby matches are a lot more intense. That's just my gut feeling from the games I've seen. I was pleased to see Benetton do so well in the Pro 14 this year. It's kind of encouraging for Italian rugby anyway. Okay, so it's not just me. That is a thing. Yeah, you don't see that as much in Super Rugby. Teams don't really send their B teams. There was a little bit of it this year with teams sending understrength sides to play the Crusaders, like the Hurricanes did it. But it's not really a big thing. I'm not sure if it's because the competition is shorter and you can't really afford to drop those games, or what. Beer, Pepsi, good lord. Yeah, well, Leinster's got the depth that they can play pretty much a C team, so. Beer needs a top up. Right, the bottle is empty. Yeah, I mean, I saw Cardiff play Leinster, and I think, wasn't it the opening round of the Pro 14, like last year when it started, 2018, 2019 season? And Leinster sent like a pretty understrength team, and I think they won just. But I remember seeing the lineup, and I was like, whoa, this is not the Leinster team I was expecting to see. And like, yeah, it was a close game. I think it was played in Cardiff. Reds have got advantage again. 5 meters out from the Blues line. I feel like they're definitely going to score. Kick through. What happened there? No, the Blues guys got it. Okay. Back for the advantage. Wouldn't that be like a beginner? I never worked in a bar. I worked in a bar. You should see the way they pour beer in China. They give it that much head. Yeah, Papali at 6 is kind of like Driving says, it's kind of like playing two open sides. So they do lack kind of like that Jerome Kino style player, but I guess they figure it helps them at the breakdown other ways. So I mean, he's a good player for sure. 60,000 people. Yeah, that would have been awesome. The Blues are just hanging on. 5 meters out again. Will they give away advantage or a penalty again? They're making a lot of tackles. And advantage. And penalty. And he's double pumping that whistle. And he's putting his hand in his pocket. And it's the man we were just talking about. It's going off for 10 minutes. Yeah. He's not going to be back for much of the game. What are the stats like looking in this game? The Reds are just going to pile on the pressure here. 64 minutes. Yeah, those stats haven't really changed. Blues have made 103 tackles to the Reds 53. Conceded 12 penalties to the Reds 6. Under the pump. It'll be a draw for a change. Good God. Yeah, 13 minutes left. The Blues have got a guy in the bin for 10 of those pretty much. The Reds have to score here. If you can't score with all this pressure and a man in the bin, then something is wrong. The Blues are just making those tackles, though. Nah. It's just keep it with those forwards. James Lowe has always been very good. He's very, very good. He's very unlucky not to make the All Blacks, man. I think he was playing at a time kind of when, I think, was it Julian Savia was in his prime? So, yeah, he was very unlucky. And the Reds cough it up. How many faces was that? It was a fair few. And Nonu was, I was going to say got it to the 22, but he also coughed it up a bit. But we've got a penalty. Okay, the Blues will get to exit here, kill a bit of time on that yellow card, so it's not all doom and gloom. Yeah, good defense. I guess, slightly surprised with how well they did there. Uppy size coming on for Parsons. Fresh legs. Props are still on, though. Live stream. Akira Ioane for the All Blacks. I mean, all we keep hearing about that is like there's things that they want him to work on. It's kind of like the same as Laumapi, even though Laumapi's had more exposure to the All Blacks than Akira has. So, yeah, I mean, I guess it's his work rate is the main thing they seem to talk about. And, I mean, last week he had that kind of yap thing, which was not a good look. So, yeah. But, I mean, with the ball, the guy's devastating, so... Did someone mention beer? No, I don't think anybody's mentioned beer yet. What's this about beer? My wife tomorrow is going to ask me, how did the live stream go? I'm going to be like, they just asked me to drink beer. And the Blues were frustrating to watch. Yeah, too cocky. I agree. Like, I feel like the All Blacks do take that kind of mentality thing into consideration when they pick players. They want not only good players, but guys that are going to fit in with the group. So if there's someone that doesn't have the right attitude, I feel like that will leave them out of that group. So, I mean, I don't know if there's any concrete evidence behind that, but yeah, it's kind of the same thing. And that yap thing is about as bad as the passes the Blues are throwing here. Can the Blues make it to the top 8 if they don't get a bonus point? Well, they're on 28, so I think they can, but the bonus point will definitely help. Not that they're going to get it. Savia slowed down. The drop in Savia was like a stone. I don't know how. Like within a season, he just seemed to get slow. It was like you remember him in that World Cup match against the French when he was just devastating, and you thought this guy is going to go on to break all kinds of try-scoring records for the All Blacks, and then he just started looking average at Super Rugby, and then he got signed by Toulon, and they're saying, "Man, this guy looks slow." And I was like, yeah, haven't you been watching Super Rugby for the last couple of years? He's been pretty average. Beer beats Battlestar Galactica. I haven't had that much to drink. How's Battlestar Galactica coming up in the comments? I have seen Battlestar Galactica. I'm a dude with glasses. Of course I've seen it. Yeah, exactly. Savia did stop kind of being good after 2015. That was like his peak. That was his kind of his moment. So, yeah, it was surprising. Same with Naholo. Should play in the centre, Xavier. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's one thing that some guys from the wing can tend to do. You know, you can move in field where you're not going to get exposed as much for lack of pace. So, like, I mean, you can't imagine Adam Ashley Cooper playing wing or fullback at the moment, but he seems to do all right in the midfield, and he's getting on. It's a quote from The Office of Battlestar Galactica. Okay. I've watched it, but apparently not that in depth. At least the Blues are down the right end of the field. There's 8 minutes to go. We've still got a man in the bin for like another 5 minutes, but the Reds are in their own 22. And I'm having a beer. It's a good day. I don't play rugby, no. I have thought about signing up for like some kind of, they call them like presidents 15s, basically guys that are too old to play rugby. I tend to take my kids swimming on a Saturday, which takes up a lot of my time because there's 2 of them. Who's going to be the All Blacks right wing? It's not going to be Nihimil Niscada. Naholo is one choice. Some people would say Severis as a bolter. The optimism is slowly creeping back given the fact that the Blues are up by 6 and we are somehow, with a man down, attacking the Reds within their own 22. Although they've just turned the ball over. And got a penalty. Yeah, Hussein could be another option as well. That guy's been in good form. Right. Stop saying beer because the beer's gone. The beer's finished. That was 750 mils of beer. Oops. Sorry if that was loud on the microphone. How long did that take me to drink that? Like 20 minutes? I feel like that's a decent effort for a guy my age. Beer, come back. New beer. You guys, you're leading me down the wrong path. Should be saying drink water, drink herbal tea. Open another one. Beers, I'm not jealous of other beers. No. Next time I'll buy 2 beers instead of just 1 beer. The beer in the cupboard is not good beer. Milo is good. See, Paul is sensible. I do have Milo just over there. Milo at like 11:20 at night is a more suitable option than beer. The Blues are not too far away from holding the Reds to no points during this yellow card. I believe it can happen. Chocolate, iced chocolate with whipped cream. Yeah, I wish. I think I do have some ice cream in the fridge, but it's mango. Oh. That was a flat pass from the Reds. Oh, man, Karevi is just finding all kinds of space in this game. He's just always able to get that ball away. Oh, the Reds are on the charge. They're almost at the Blues 22, and they were in their own half just a minute ago. Suddenly, my optimism factor has plummeted. Hi, FLR Films. Hey, bud. Not much time left. Yeah, there's only. Oh, God. Higginbotham again. We were doing so well. We had the Reds down their own end. We almost ate up that yellow card period, but now the Reds have scored. Higginbotham's got a second try. Kick to come. The kick is going to be crucial. Drink beer for motivation. Yeah. See a grown man cry on the live stream. Yeah, nah, the Blues can't make me cry anymore. It's been too long. I should write who scores the tries on the board. I should. If I do another live stream, I'll have to be more efficient. Although if you guys are getting me to drink this much beer, it may be hard for me to be efficient. This is a big kick. It's the right side for a right-footed kicker. And he has nailed it. Son of a... Is the Blues season about to be officially done? We are about 2 minutes away from that. Because the beer is finished, yeah. You look like you're almost asleep. Well, it's 20 past 11. Surely I need coffee, not beer, if I'm falling asleep. Surely. The beer was a metaphor. We need some ball, man. Okay, we've got the ball. There's a minute and 15 seconds to play. Oh my, he almost dropped that. Papali's back on, so it's 15 on 15. About 30 meters out from the Reds' goal line. The Blues have got the ball. They absolutely need a win. If we're relying on Plummer's boot to win this game, we could be in pretty deep trouble. I think they need to go for the try. Yeah, man. Drive him all. Plug away. Ten phases. The Blues have not yet knocked the ball on. But it's coming. Set for a drop goal, maybe. Ooh, have the Reds turned it over? Oh, they have. That's it, man. 10 seconds. That's it. That's it. That's going to be it. Yeah, I do need more beer, man. Well, oh, man. That sucks. Yep. Oh, man. The Blues lose by a point. Man. Man. Well, there's always next year, right? Oh. Yep. Just when you think you get used to being disappointed by the Blues, they find a way to do it to you again. Like, at least give me next week. Like, just give me one more week to just give me some fake hope. Like, why do you lose this dead game against a team who's already out? Anyway. Well, thank you guys for joining me. See the Blues go down by a point to the Reds. Yeah, it has been a bit of a fun stream. The beer was good, right? If nothing else, I drank a beer, and you guys encouraged me to drink alcohol, which I'm not sure if that's a good thing, but oh well. I'm glad I did it, seeing as the Blues lost. Maybe next time we'll do 2 beers and see how that goes. But anyway, that's the Blues for the season. I guess I'll be doing the review video tomorrow, but yeah, that wasn't very good. Blake Gibson's being interviewed, and yeah, he doesn't know what to say. Yeah, I suppose if nothing else, that gives the Reds something else to cheer about, because they've had a hard season as well. To be fair, they've had a hard season. All right, guys, I think I'm gonna go to bed. Have a wee cry. Go to bed. The kids aren't crying, so no. Thank you for joining me, buds, and yeah, I guess that'll do it for now. So yeah, it's been a bit of fun, something new, and it worked. So Blake Gibson looks pretty pissed off, and I don't blame him. Anyway, good night, guys. I'll talk to you again next time. See you later.